Hello, and welcome to the National Disability Research Partnership's annual report for 2024-2025. NDRP stands for National Disability Research Partnership, and we are an independent body ensuring disability-led research drives policy and practice in Australia. This report is titled Building on Strong Foundations and covers the period from March 2024 to 30 June 2025. If you want to get in touch with the NDRP, you can email us at info@ndrp.org.au or phone us on 03 3813. Throughout this audio series, we'll walk through each page of the report, highlighting achievements, people, and numbers that show how disability-led research is transforming policy and practice. The inside cover page shows Mary Sayers, NDRP CEO, and Claire Ghibellini, NDRP Board Chair, standing beside the Honourable Amanda Rishworth MP, who served as Minister for Social Services until May 2025. The inside cover page shows Mary Sayers, NDRP CEO, and Claire Ghibellini, Page 3 outlines the contents. The report begins with acknowledgements and thank you, followed by about this report, about us, a message from our board chair and CEO, and a section called Our People, which profiles board members and staff. Then the report presents year one by the numbers, summarising metrics from the first year and details key achievements across 4 strategic focus areas. And they are build a sustainable foundation, fund research done by and with people with disability, strengthen disability research capacity, and mobilise evidence for action. The report concludes with a financial snapshot, a more information section, and contact details. Acknowledgements and thank you. We acknowledge the First Nations people of Australia as the traditional custodians of the land and waters where we live and work. We pay respect to elders past and present and recognise the strength and leadership of First Nations people with disability. The NDRP is led and shaped by people with disability. We thank all those who have provided guidance, support, and contributions spanning research, advocacy, co-design, and lived experience. We would like to thank our funder and partner, the Department of Health, Disability and Ageing, the research participants who share their stories, partner organisations, our board and research committee members, the independent review panels consisting mostly of people with disability, researchers, policymakers, and advocates who are helping us build a disability-led research ecosystem, and our outsourced finance, HR, IT, and audit partners. Next is a quote from Professor Sally Robertson. And she says, "When we make space for people with disability to lead, ask the questions and shape the research, the impact is deeper and more lasting. This isn't just about inclusion, it's about doing better research that leads to real change." The heading on the next page is About this report. Under Why this report matters, the report states that this document tells the story of NDRP's first year as an independent organisation and explains what has been done, why it matters, and where the organisation is heading next. In who this report is for, it says the report is for everyone, including people with disability, researchers, advocates, government, and the wider community, so they can see how NDRP is working to build a better, fairer research system. There's a section on formats available and notes that the report is also available in multiple formats: an Auslan video, this, the audio version, a large print version, and a screen reader accessible PDF. Note also points readers to the NDRP website for these versions. Page 6 features a full-page photograph of the NDRP team and features our staff. From left to right, Jess, then Natasha with her guide dog Nirvana, Sally, Sue, Bethany, Mary, and Gillian. Page 6 features a full. The 7th page is a text page and is titled About Us. At the top, there is a paragraph that reads, the National Disability Research Partnership 2024-2029 strategic plan outlines our vision that policy and practice in Australia are transformed by disability-led research, and our strategic focus areas, which will be the foundation for the organisation over the next 5 years. There are then two columns, and in the left-hand column, it lists the focus areas are 1. Build a sustainable foundation. 2. Fund research done by and with people with disability. 3. Strengthen disability research capacity. And 4. Mobilise evidence for action. Under the 4 bullet points, there is a title that says The Roles We Are Playing, and there are 3 sections about the roles we are playing. First, leading and enabling. We are led and informed by people with disability in everything we do. Knowing this leads to the greatest impact in research, knowledge mobilisation, and policy and practice. The second role is partnering and collaborating. We partner and collaborate with people with disability and their representative organisations, governments, policymakers, universities, researchers, and philanthropy to achieve our vision. Thirdly, in the left-hand column and last, it says advancing research capacity and NDRP's research priorities. We fund research and keep the research agenda current so it continues to reflect the priorities of people with disability. Let's move now to the right-hand column, and the title is The Impact We Are Seeking. In 2024 to 2025, we worked with Aisel Allen to develop our long-term evaluation plan and impact strategy. This was informed by consultations with the board, the NDRP team, our research committee, and representatives from disabled persons and representative organisations. The 4 long-term impacts we are seeking are, and there's 4 bullet points, I'll read each one to you. The NDRP is an enduring enabler that connects stakeholders to deliver research led by and with people with disability. Disability-led and focused research focuses on critical issues that matter most to people with disability. Researchers and research institutions are better equipped to undertake and support quality, inclusive disability research with greater efforts to address intersectionality. And the 4th and final bullet point on this page, research about people with disability is easy to find, understand, and broadly used to create better policies, initiatives, and much more inclusive communities. The next 2 pages contain a message from our board chair and CEO, and I'm not going to try and do the voices. So from our board chair, Claire Ghibellini, and CEO, Mary Sayers. The National Disability Research Partnership, NDRP, was established first over 4 years by the NDRP Working Party, then as an independent organisation commencing in March 2024. The link in the PDF will take you to who was on the Working Party if you want to check that out. Then there are 2 columns of text on this first page of the message from the board chair and CEO. I'll read both of those columns to you. Our vision is policy and practice in Australia are transformed by disability-led research. We've had the privilege of seeing what's possible when people with disability lead the work, and our board and staff are committed to ensure NDRP as an enduring enabler for disability-led and inclusive research, for strengthening research capacity and driving evidence into action. This first year has shown what's achievable when community, government, researchers, advocates, and community come together with purpose. We've developed strong governance, transparent processes, and funded our first round of projects on the topic of safety of people with disability. To everyone who has been part of this journey so far, thank you. To everyone we haven't yet worked with, we're ready to listen, learn, and partner. Our first year as an independent organisation focused on making sure the voices of people with disability shape every part of our work. We've asked for input from the community at every stage, from what questions are asked, how the research is done, to how research findings are shared and used to create the policies and practices and services that make a real-world difference for people with disability. We also know our work is just beginning to deliver lasting change. We must stay the course and keep investing in this inclusive model. I'm going to move to the second column on that first page of the CEO and board chair message. In 2024-25, we have built our team, supported our board, research committee, and other advisory structures, ensuring the majority were people with disability. We also did all the things needed to set up the operations of a new organisation. We have involved and engaged thousands of people. This includes our evidence to action events, our research funding information sessions, through our first research funding round, and our capacity strengthening activities. It is when you bring together people with disability, disabled persons and representative organisations, DPOs or DROs, researchers, policymakers, governments, and other important stakeholders that the magic happens. We want to keep doing more of this to achieve our vision. We both had the privilege of being selected by the Australian Government to be part of the official government side event at the 18th session of the Conference of State Parties to the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, the CRPD, at the United Nations in New York in June 2025. Together with Luke Nelson and Catherine McAlpine from Inclusion Australia, Robin Shannon and Hope Priestley from the Australian Government, we were able to showcase the National Disability Research Partnership and the National Disability Data Asset to an international audience and demonstrate the strong commitment to research and data led by and with people with disability in Australia. We're on the second page of the message from the board chair and CEO. There's one column of text and then two photos. I'm going to read the text first. As a key initiative of Australia's disability strategy, we are working in partnership with the Australian Government and governments across Australia. We are trialling a new way of government commissioning research to ensure it is led by and with people with disability through our commissioned research project on improving transitions to careers for young people with disability. Over the last year, we have worked with government to refine their research interests, conduct a lived experience review, and consulted broadly with DROs, DPOs to assist government to fund research that will have direct impact on policy and practice. We want to thank everyone who has contributed to this work, especially people with disability who bring wisdom, expertise, and accountability to everything we do. Year 2 will be about growing our reach and impact. Let's keep building this together. That ends the text on this second page of the message from the board chair and CEO. And then there are two photos. From the top of the page on the right-hand side, there is a photo of Claire and Mary with an Auslan interpreter behind them at the United Nations for COSP. And then the second photo on this page, at the bottom of the page, is also a photo of Claire and Mary at the United Nations in the Grand Hall. The next 4 pages of the annual report detail the people and organisations involved and who have contributed enormously to our first year of work. I'm going to describe each of the pages and read the names of the people there, and then direct you to the NDRP website for more detail. So the first page has our board, Claire Ghibellini, Professor Anne Kavanagh, and Chloe Rattray, and each are a director of our board. And there's a photo of each of them on this first page. The second page of our board members includes 3 further people. From left to right, Dr. Emily Steele, Professor Jackie Leach Scully, and Karen Howe. The second page of our board members includes 3 further people. From left to right, on the third page of our board members, again, there are 3 people. From left to right, Associate Professor Lorna Hallahan, Louise Gates, and Luke Mansfield. On the third page of our board members, again, there are 3 people. From left to right, Associate Professor Lorna Hallahan, Louise Gates. The fourth page in this section of our people includes a 2-column list of our research committee and our staff, and at the bottom of the page, 4 photos. I'll describe each. We would also like to thank our research committee and staff. Our research committee, Professor Anne Kavanagh, Chair, Dr. Kate Davies, Dr. Elroy Dern, Dr. Alexandra Devine, Professor Helen Dickinson, Dr. Jane McEwen, Professor Sally Robinson, Professor Jackie Leach Scully, Talia Rose Vinison, and Robbie Williams. And our staff, Mary Sayers, Chief Executive Officer, Sue Tape, Head of Evidence to Action, Gillian Mason, Head of Research Program, Bethany Devonish, Commissioned Research Project Manager, Sally Belford, Communications Lead, Natasha Brake, Operations Lead, Jess Rosenthal, Engagement and Events Coordinator, and Tessa DeVries, Strategic Advisor until January 2025. I'll now describe the 4 photos from the top left photo first. It's a photo of Chloe and Lorna. The second photo, top right of the 4 photos, is a photo of Anne Kavanagh and Luke from the board. And then the bottom left-hand photo is a photo of Louise, Nirvana, and Natasha. Nirvana being Natasha's guide dog. And the fourth and final photo in the lower right corner of the page is a photo of a group of people in a meeting room, which is a mix of NDRP staff and research committee members. The 14th page of our annual report is titled Year 1 by the Numbers, and it's formatted in 2 columns. Both columns have icon symbols in front of numbers and text, and I'm going to read through. So the first left-hand column starts with 93, and that's 93 research applications received. Then 15 funded projects in round 1, 60 plus researchers or contributors with disability, 30 plus advocacy organisations engaged, and 168,000 plus communications and impressions across social media. And event participation is 1,200 plus, being the total registrations across 3 events. And then for the 24th of July 2025 Evidence to Action event, Mobilising Research for Policy Impact, there are 3 statistics, and they all start with a thumbs up icon. And that's 86% rated the event excellent or very good. And then for the 1st of May 2025, Exploring Knowledge Mobilisation, 100% rated the event excellent or very good. And then the 5th of December 2024, Enabling the Elimination of Restrictive Practices, 81% rated the event excellent or very good. Moving now to the second column on the page, starts with connections we have built. 41% of people registering for events are researchers. 37% of registrations are people with disability. All state and territory governments are represented. 26 independent panel review members for round 1, and 50 speakers, facilitators, and note takers. The next section is about our followers. We have 2,908 subscribers to our newsletters, and we have 3,216 followers on social media. We have 10,920 unique website visitors and 53,807 page views. The bottom right-hand corner of this page includes a quote from a disability people's organisation leader at our December 2024 event, and they said, "This is the first time we've felt like real partners in research, not just people being asked for feedback." Pages 15, 16 and 17 of our annual report map out our key achievements against our strategic focus areas. The 3 pages each have 2 columns of text, and I'll read those out to you. So page 15, column 1 says build a sustainable foundation. So we established the NDRP as an independent, nationally recognised not-for-profit organisation and secured deductible gift recipient, DGR, status for long-term sustainability. We developed stakeholder engagement, membership and communication strategies and deepened collaboration with government, advocates, researchers and policymakers. We initiated our first commissioned research project with government and worked with disability representative organisations, including through the Disability Advocacy Network Australia, DANA, who led the project on creating long-term partnerships between advocacy organisations and researchers. The second column and the second strategic focus area is fund research done by and with people with disability. And the bullets under there opened the first NDRP Open Research Grant Round aligned to the topic of safety of people with disability, embedded accessibility from the start in forms, templates, and review processes. And in our first funding round, we invested in 15 projects that directly address priorities from the NDRP research agenda. This round focused on seed funding, supporting teams to co-design and synthesize evidence with people with disability before moving into full-scale research. By funding the earliest stage of the research processes, we're building the skills, confidence, and relationships that make inclusive research possible, ensuring research questions reflect the real priorities of the disability community, and laying the groundwork for projects that are more likely to influence policies, services, and systems. And at the bottom of this page is a quote from Claire Ghiblini, our chair at the Evidence to Action event. And the quote is, "Today is just the beginning of many important conversations. Let's continue to work together, prioritising the voices of people with disability and ensuring the evidence we gather drives action towards a safer, more inclusive society." The second page of the report, which talks about our key achievements against our strategic focus areas, is primarily focused on strengthened disability research capacity as the third area. And it starts at the top with a quote from Professor Helen Dickinson at the Evidence to Action event. And she said, "Involving people with disability as just research subjects doesn't fundamentally change the power structures. We need them involved in determining the research questions, collecting data, interpreting findings, and shaping conclusions." And so I'll move on now to read you the strengthened disability research capacity and our achievements against that focus area. Delivered workshops, sessions, and mentoring to support research teams wishing to apply for NDRP research funding. Developed funding guidelines and resources to support inclusive research. Creating a connected community. Our first 15 funded research projects aren't working in isolation. Through regular check-ins, shared tools, and collaborative problem solving, they're becoming part of a growing network, a community of practice that will strengthen disability research for years to come. Whether it's a first-time project lead or an experienced researcher, we're seeing greater confidence to lead and collaborate in ways that reflect the priorities of people with disability. By building these skills across the sector, we're creating the conditions for more inclusive, influential, and sustainable research. Whether it's a first-time project lead or an experienced academic, we're seeing greater confidence to lead and collaborate in ways that reflect priorities of people with disability. The bottom of this page includes a quote from a researcher. "Thank you so much for all of the thought and care that has gone into providing feedback to unsuccessful applicants such as myself. It is a continuation of the wonderful approach that was taken throughout the application process in the webinars and drop-in sessions, a model for grant bodies that should be copied across the research funding sector," and concludes with 2 exclamation marks. The third page in this section around our key achievements against our strategic focus areas has mobilise evidence for action. The NDRP deepened our partnership with the Analysis and Policy Observatory, APO, to improve the accessibility and availability of disability research. APO is a free public online library. Together, we are building and maintaining the Disability Research Collection on APO, a dedicated space for high-quality, policy-relevant disability research, with a focus on research by and with people with disability. This year, we launched monthly newsletters highlighting new and relevant research in the collection, improved tagging and search functions so research is easier to find, and with APO to ensure disability-related terms in their public policy taxonomy reflect the social model of disability and NDRP's guiding principles, and also started promoting the collection to new audiences, including researchers, advocates, and students completing their PhDs. In December 2024, May and July 2025, our Evidence to Action events brought together people with disability, researchers, policymakers, and advocates to explore how research can drive real-world change. These national online gatherings showcased disability-led research, built cross-sector connections, and shared practical tools for getting evidence into policy and practice. Evidence to Action is more than what happens on the day. Each event is the result of months of collaboration between speakers, facilitators, note takers, and the NDRP team. From shaping the program to delivering keynote talks, panels, provocations, and breakout rooms, and then debriefing afterwards, we work together to design experiences that are inclusive, engaging, and outcome focused. By blending high quality content with thoughtful design and delivery, these events don't just share evidence, they connect people, spark ideas, and inspire action. The result is a growing network of people ready to turn disability research into lasting change. And at the end of this page, there is a quote from a government speaker at the Evidence to Action event. And they said, embedding an evidence base into policy reform means creating sustainable change. People with disability and their lived experience need to be at the centre of all reform. Financial snapshot. From March 2024 to June 2025, total income was $14.34 million. Expenses were $1.56 million, leaving a surplus of $12.77 million. We received $13.96 million in government grant funding, $373,382 in interest income, and $5,271 from other income. Major expenses included accessibility costs of $59,119, administration expenses of $13,701, employee benefits $729,241, professional fees of $367,701, research expenses of $269,200, and system expenses of $58,115, and other expenses of $64,592. These figures reflect the early stage of NDRP. Large grants were received, but funds are committed to multi-year research projects, so expenses will increase as projects progress. The second last page of this report is titled More Information, and the left-hand column includes questions, and the right-hand column includes things to read. So the questions are, who can apply for NDRP funding? The answer is, research must be by and with people with disability in partnership with researchers, advocates, and other organisations. The next question is, how do you choose which projects to fund? And the answer is, our independent review panels made up a wide range of expertise and experience, with the majority being people with disability, to advise the research committee on projects that are inclusive, high quality, and useful for policy or practice. The board makes the final decision on research funding based on the advice of the independent review panels and the research committee. The last question in the left-hand column, where can I find out more about your work? And the answer is, you can visit our website, sign up for our emails, or follow us on social media, or contact us. Our details are on the last page. So moving over to the things to read column, there are hyperlinks to our website that talk about our strategic plan, which shows the big changes we are working towards, the NDRP research agenda, which lists research priorities developed with the disability community, and Easy English resources, where we have Easy English versions of key documents. It also includes a hyperlink to event proceedings and includes what we heard and have learned at our Evidence to Action events. The final page of the report invites you to contact us and includes all contact information. So our email, info@ndrp.org.au, our phone number, 0390003813, our SMS only number, 0485 931 168, our website, www.ndrp.org.au, and social media links to LinkedIn and Facebook, as well as the National Relay Service for accessible phone calls. Thank you for listening to this reading of NDRP's annual report.